Alright everyone, so this is an oil change DIY on a 2022 to 2024 Honda Civic Sport with the K20 C2 engine. First thing you want to do, get it up on some ramps. You can jack it up and put it on jack stands if you want to learn the correct way how to do that. Check out my video, linked in the description below. Alright, so on to the oil change. This car has about 8,000 miles on it right now. The first oil change was done by the dealer at 3,000 miles because of the leaking valve cover gasket. It was leaking behind where you couldn't really see down the back of the block, dripping off the oil pan all over the subframe. They replaced that no problem. However, now it's been 5,000 miles since their first oil change on it, and that's when I'm going to be doing my personal oil changes on this car for the rest of the life of it. I will note though, when I did get the oil change from Honda at 3,000, they put that little sticker, the maintenance sticker, in the window. And they did say it was due at 8,000 miles, so they recommend, my personal dealer near me, recommend changing the oil after 5,000 miles and ignoring the maintenance minder, because right now I have about 5,200 miles on this oil, and the maintenance minder on the dashboard says 50% oil life. So it's really trying to push me to 10,000 miles, which I will refuse to do. You're gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver to drop the aluminum tray. You can expose the bottom of the engine. So there are 4 of these flathead little locking tabs, and there are 3 of these Phillips head screws that hold up the shield as well. I would recommend that since these are Phillips head, to when you get them out for the first time, coat the ends of them in a little bit of never seize so that these never rust to the shield and you strip out the Phillips head when you're taking them off. So just take the 2 seconds, put a little never seize on the end of these, and then you'll never have this as a problem if you run your car through the winter and salt takes over its life. There's actually, I lied, there's actually 2 Phillips heads back here. Once all the bolts are out, you can slide this back and drop it down. So that will expose the bottom of your engine here. The drain plug for the oil over here, 17mm head. Put a bucket under here or your drain pan, drop that. Oil filter, incredibly easy to access. Look at that, only a couple drops in the fingers. Once everything finishes draining up pretty good, this is what you're going to need. You need some oil, some 0W20 synthetic. Flavor of choice is the Castrol Edge. I've been using this in the S2000 and all my Hondas for over a decade now. New OEM oil filter, that is the part number, the classic A02. In addition to the filter, you're going to have a brand new crush washer for the drain plug. That's really all you need. 5 quarts of oil should be more than enough to fill the engine up. Take your old crush washer off, throw it out, get yourself a new one. Put this back in. You can torque this down to 29 foot-pounds. I believe 29 or 30 foot-pounds is the spec, or you can just go snug like I like to do with a 3/8 inch ratchet. Take your oil filter out, make sure there's nothing in the hole. And as you notice, when I did take this out, it sits in the engine at a slight angle. What we're going to do here with the oil filter is pre-fill it. So I'm going to fill it up with oil, but not to the tippy top. You will fill it and then it'll drain down as it filters through the media and slowly reset its height a few times. But just try to fill it up probably 80% of the way, because when you do install it back in the engine, you do have to tip it a little bit. It sits kind of like at an angle in the engine. So if you fill it up right to the top and then you try to put it in there and thread it on quick, it's going to leak oil and oil all over the oil pan that you just got done cleaning. So fill it probably 80% of the way, put it up there and thread it on gently so you don't spin the oil out. You got a little bit of that fresh oil hanging out up top here. Just take a little bit, coat the O-ring. New oil filter, I usually just get it as tight as I can by hand and then get at it with my wrench and give it a little bit of a snug. Pop that off. Just because with the OEM Honda filters, that gasket does compress all the way and you do have a metal on metal connection when you finally seat the filter. Some aftermarket filters have like a square O-ring that never fully compresses to hit the metal on metal connection. So those you kind of want to just do as tight as you can by hand. But for this, Just don't go too tight. You'll be able to get it off for the next oil change without a problem. So now we're done with everything underneath the car. You can go ahead and put aluminum skid plate back up and secure it to the car. Next step, pull the fill plug off, set it aside, get a funnel, and fill this with 4.4 quarts. That's what the manual calls for. I'm probably going to put slightly less than that, start it, back it off the ramps, let it sit when I have it on the level garage floor, recheck the level, and then add some to bring it to the top of this dipstick. Second slot there in the dipstick is where I'm going to be bringing it to. So with the car on the ground, we can take a look at the dipstick. We're looking like we're pretty low, just above the low line on there. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more and keep rechecking. Manual calls for 4.4 quarts, but still pretty low on the dipstick. So I ended up actually almost taking the entire 5 quarts. I'd say I probably have 4.9 quarts in there. And now it has been sitting for a little bit, and that line is perfectly at the high level. So don't be surprised if you have to use almost the entire 5-quart jug. So as you can see here, I'm at 50% oil life for having 5,000 miles in the car, and the service minder is saying B1. And B refers to an oil and filter change, and 1 refers to tire rotation, I believe. Here's a picture from the service manual showing what all the codes mean for the 11th gen Civic. So whenever you're choosing to go to the maintenance screen here, that's what those numbers mean. So now that we did the oil change, and I know my tires have even tread wear all the way around, I usually am always on top of that. We can go into settings, go all the way down to maintenance reset, and here it's gonna, you can scroll through. It says item 7, item 5, item 4, item 3, item 2, and those are all referring to that image I just posted there from the service manual. And we're gonna go ahead, it's saying I'm due for B1, so I'm gonna go ahead and select B. And now it's saying A1, so this is where it gets a little convoluted to come in here. I'm just going to say all due items, reset completed. I don't know if there's a better way to do that. Please let me know in the comments. Go back to maintenance now and see if it, yep, so I'll put my oil life at 100, and it's saying A. That's not flashing A, so what if I go in here and go back to my settings, scroll up from the bottom, maybe that'll be quicker, maintenance reset, and A is just an oil change. So if I reset that, can I get all the codes off of the screen there with my oil life? Let's take a look. Maintenance. Alright, it still shows A. I don't know what the heck that really is referring to, being that I just reset A. The maintenance minder at this point is really going to be not too helpful to me. I'm going to choose my own intervals to do like manual transmission fluid changes, obviously oil changes every 5,000. I'm going to bleed the brakes in the clutch slave cylinder every couple of years probably. Valve adjustment probably at 100,000 or 75,000 miles. Got a long way to go before that. So yeah, this screen I really am never going to look at other than resetting the oil life so it doesn't ever yell at me when it gets below 15%. But go back to no content. Thanks guys for watching. Leave a comment below, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Posted a recent video about installing the PRL intake and reviewing it thoroughly. You guys know if you watched that I have a pre-filter on here. Just wanted to point out a quick tip on that. I've been running the car probably for 2 months now since I installed that, and right through pollen season here in New York in the spring through May and now halfway through June. And the nice thing about the pre-filter is I just went in there and kind of rotated it with my hand and just wiped it off with my hand. And looking straight down, you can see it rolled all the like pollen film off of the pre-filter and it dropped right down. Now all I have to do is stick a shop vac in there, suck it up, and this filter is perfectly clean again. So this pre-filter will make the actual air filter last so much longer than an OEM filter or any other setup, because you can clean it off so easily and not have that dirt clog up the filter media.